President Uhuru Kenyatta and his elder brother Raila Odinga yesterday launched officially the Building Bridges Initiative report at the Bomas of Kenya. And two people stood out during that launch. Alex Matere, the young Alex Matere from Trans Nzoia County. Matere delivered a very powerful speech. And the other guy who stood out is Dr. William Samoei Ruto. And in my considered opinion, the Deputy President, Dr. William Ruto, actually outwitted, outsmarted, and outfoxed President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga and their handlers. Because you all know that the President and Raila Odinga received this report in Kisii. And the Deputy President deliberately failed to attend that event in Kisii. He wanted to achieve two things. He wanted to monitor the mood of Kenyans on that particular report, because by that time he didn't know the content of the report. And the other thing he wanted to do was to prepare for this particular event. So the Deputy President stood out. And today I want to explain to you why the Deputy President actually outwitted Raila Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta during yesterday's event, according to my own observation. But before we do that, if you are watching this video for the first time, I want you to take a second or two and click subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. Now back to the main issue. The fact and the truth of the matter is that the Deputy President delivered. He came to that event without knowing how he was going to be received. We all know that the people who attended that event were predominantly the allies of President Uhuru Kenyatta and the allies of Raila Odinga and their supporters. And by yesterday, a day before the launch, the allies of the Deputy President were actually complaining that most of members of parliament allied to the Deputy President were never invited to that particular event. But I saw at least Moses Kuria to that event. And this is why the Deputy President actually outsmarted these guys. Number one, William Ruto did his homework well. He read the document and articulated the issues in that document very well. Take, for example, the issue of devolution. The document says that funds are going to be devolved, more funds, 35%, which is fantastic. But you are not allowing the Senate to oversight that fund. The Deputy President then also realized something. He read the document and he realized that we are going to do away with women reps and that we are going to now have women elected as senators. But the same Senate, the power of Senate, is actually being eroded in this report. So by doing that, the Deputy President appealed to the women folks in this country. And that's why when he mentioned that, people were actually clapping for him. And another area is the executive. Kenyans are very clear on one thing, that they don't want an imperial presidency. They want the power of the president to be reduced. This particular report creates an imperial presidency. So he read the report and he also read the mood of the people. And because most Kenyans are against imperial presidency, when the Deputy President stood up to speak about it, most Kenyans were actually happy with what he was saying. And I strongly believe that the Deputy President actually borrowed most of his speech in that document, the 20-point document by Professor Kithure Kindiki. I want to challenge you to go to his official Facebook page, Professor Kithure Kindiki, and read that document. That's exactly what the Deputy President delivered in Bomas. The second reason why the Deputy President outsmarted these guys is because most of the speakers who were allowed to speak focus on two individuals. They focused on President Uhuru Kenyatta, and they also focused on Raila Odinga. They actually turned into praise choir. They were actually praising them. You talk of Mishimboko, you talk of all those Ketu Aruguru, they were actually just praising these two gentlemen. They failed one aspect. They failed to highlight the content of the document. The deputy president focused on that particular document and dismantled it into pieces. And because he dismantled it, most people were now able to relate with what he was saying. So because these other guys focused on Raila Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta, they did not put a strong case for this particular document. Nobody explained the issue of executive. Nobody explained how this document was actually going to help with devolution. But there's a gentleman, I can't remember his name, he spoke. The guy also articulated some of these issues so well, but I can't remember his name. He's not a member of parliament. I think he's one of those professionals. Number 3, which most people might not have known, there were a lot of infighting within the Building Bridges Initiative team itself. So there were people who believed that the previous Building Bridges Initiative launch at the Bomas of Kenya was mismanaged. So they wanted to take charge of this. What they did not understand was that this process is actually a political process. Look at the people who spoke at this event. James Orengo did not speak. Junet Mohammed did not speak. Who spoke on behalf of ODM party? Who? There was my friend Rene, and there was my friend Ashura. We call her Binti Kiziwi. Those are the only people who spoke. But Ashura spoke on behalf of persons with disability. Rene spoke on behalf of the youths. Who spoke on behalf of ODM party? Swala nyeti there. So there were a lot of infighting within the Building Bridges Initiative team itself. Number 4, I think the task force also delivered a poor document. The document, you can easily poke holes in that document. I was listening to Paul Mwangi earlier in the day when someone asked him why we were going to have a prime minister who is being appointed and by the president and can be fired by the president. He explained that they borrowed from neighboring countries. That in Sudan, was it in Sudan, the prime minister almost fought with the president because they disagreed and they didn't want that. What Kenyans were asking was very simple. We don't want an imperial presidency, but we want a prime minister. How are we going to elect this prime minister? Let people go to the polls. Then the party with the majority members will appoint a prime minister. So it's that particular party to appoint the prime minister, not the president to appoint a prime minister. And Paul Mwangi was arguing that because the prime minister will be part of cabinet and the cabinet is appointed by the president, that's why they're allowing the president to fire him. That's not what Kenyans want in the constitution. Kenyans want a prime minister who is elected by votes, by virtue of his political party gaining more members of parliament. That's simple, not what the committee is recommending. So the committee did a poor work. And because of that poor work, the deputy president was able to poke holes in almost each and every part of that document. Number 5, the 5th reason why the deputy president outsmarted these guys or stood out is because of the public concerns about the Building Bridges Initiative report. Most Kenyans believe that the Building Bridges Initiative report is actually not addressing their main issues, their main challenges. So they were concerned, even as Kenyans were going to Bomas, even as those who are going to Bomas were going there, even as President Ruto Kenyatta and Raila Odinga received the Building Bridges Initiative report in Kisii, Kenyans were really concerned about that particular report because it was silent on the real issues affecting Kenyans. The issues were not coming out clearly. Like, how are you going to address the issue of youth employment or unemployment for that matter? It's not coming out clearly how it's going to address it. What about the women? Is it addressing the issues of women the way it should address? So a lot of issues were not coming out and Kenyans were concerned. And that's exactly what the deputy president exploited. And everybody was now clapping for him. Number 6 is sympathy. We all know that the Building Bridges Initiative process is something which has been here with us 2 years now. The task force collected views. The allies of the deputy president and the deputy president himself boycotted those events. So the views were collected. And it came out clearly that their views were actually not wanted. And they were being sidelined. And the Kenya we know, people tend to side with the people who are viewed to be persecuted. So after the past event in Bomas, where the deputy president was actually humiliated, Kenyans started sympathizing with him. When president was in Kisii and Raila Odinga, the deputy president deliberately opted out of that trip. So Kenyans were like, will this guy be attending? So by the time the deputy president announced, because those who follow the deputy president, he actually spoke almost the same things he spoke on the floor at Bomas yesterday. He spoke about them over the weekend in some funeral somewhere. He explained all those when he announced that he was going to be in Bomas, nitakuwa Bomas, and I'll say the same things. He said them, he said it, and exactly that's what he did. So because he was being seen as someone who is being sidelined, most people were sympathetic to him. So when he was given the chance, he didn't disappoint them. He didn't disappoint them. They were heckling, but he didn't disappoint the Kenyans who are watching from the comfort of their sofas. So sympathy also worked in favor of the deputy president. Number 7, the deputy president was going to lose nothing on this. So he had the opportunity to go there, talk whatever he wanted, because there was nothing he was going to lose. He could only gain. So he went there knowing so well that mimi hata nikienda huko niseme nini, I was not going to lose anything. He had nothing to lose. So he spoke. But instead of losing, he gained. In fact, today if you go online, most people believe that the deputy president actually performed well, because some of the issues the deputy president raised were actually supposed to have been raised during the collection of signatures. And that's why I was personally saying, and I think I tweeted that the deputy president made a very good presentation before the Building Bridges Initiative Task Force. So it's upon the task force now to decide to include or to remove what the deputy president said today. And the issues the deputy president raised were actually very weighty. And there are issues which affect the ordinary person. So ultimately, he knew there was nothing he was going to lose. So he went out there knowing so well that whatever I'm going to say, ultimately, I'm not going to lose anything, but I can only gain. And lastly, the other reason why the deputy president also stood out is because of the secrecy around the Building Bridges Initiative report. There's been a lot of secret dealings in this Building Bridges Initiative report. Kenyans have been asking themselves, BBI, iko na nini ndani. Of course there have been propaganda, and this country we have a lot of propaganda and hearsay that the Building Bridges Initiative report is going to create positions for Raila Odinga and for Uhuru Kenyatta. When the report came out, it's not going to do. There were these stories that, okay, the report is going to do away with the Nairobi County. Nothing closer to that. And because of the way these guys have been dealing with the Building Bridges Initiative issues secretly, Kenyans were really eager to listen to anybody who was going to come out to dissect and deconstruct the Building Bridges Initiative report into pieces the way the deputy president did. So yesterday was a big success for the deputy president, William Samoei Ruto. I don't know what you think. And of course, there's the other coin, which I'm going to look at in my next video. The mistakes which I think the deputy president committed while making that powerful presentations. I don't know what you think. And if you're watching this video for the first time, please take a second or two and click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. Thank you guys, and please may you have a good day.